Welcome to SNR's Family Engagement Steps to Connecting with Families. Communicating with families. When communicating with families, it is important to have open communication from the beginning to assist in building a positive relationship for how to communicate prior to a situation arising. Communication should be continuous and maintained with families. Please consider the following points while building your communication with families. Keep your questions specific. Keep your questions specific and ask the questions that you would ask the parent of any child. Then ask additional or individual questions to support the children's inclusion in the classroom and to welcome any community partners. How Does Learning Happen states that gaining knowledge about children from multiple perspectives helps educators ensure that the program also value the unique and diverse characteristics of the children's families and the communities in which they live. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. In particular, programs should be reflective of the cultural and linguistic backgrounds of the children and families. Here is Ragad, an inclusion facilitator, with some examples of questions to ask families.
Here are some examples of questions that educators can ask parents about their child. What is your child's greatest strength or skill? What are your fears or concerns? Is there any information you would like to share with us to support your child's learning? Is there any community partners that you are involved with that they can be welcome to our center?
When and how to communicate. Knowing when and how to deliver communication with a family is key to connecting. Families all have different ways to connect via communication, and when and how each family prefers to receive their communication is key to setting the stage for ongoing open communication. Our Code of Ethics states under caring, responsive relationships that communicate with children and families by being equitable, inclusive, and respectful of diversity. They are receptive listeners and offer encouragement and support by responding appropriately to the ideas, concerns, and needs of children and families. Here is Nicole, an inclusion facilitator, with some examples of ways to offer to deliver communication with families.
To build on communications with families, ask them if they would like to be involved in sharing and participating in classroom ideas, such as sharing family photos, recipes, and art projects. In addition, when continuing to promote inclusion, inquire about resources that families are already using. If they can benefit from additional resources, create a list of community partners and attach it to a newsletter for all families to use.
Cultural and linguistic backgrounds. Sharing information to meet the rights of cultural and linguistic backgrounds of all families. This may include the recognition of gender roles in a family, being aware of cultural greetings and titles of family members. Our Code of Ethics supports this with Standard 1, Caring and Responsive Relationships. Access available information regarding the relevant family circumstances of children and the factors that may contribute to shaping their individual and family identity, including, but not limited to, the child's health, legal custody, and/or guardianship, family structure, and cultural and linguistic backgrounds. Here is Nicole again with some examples of how to support communication with families around cultural and linguistics.
To support cultural and linguistic backgrounds, approach the family speaking the common language in the environment. To minimize assumption, if the family shows understanding, follow through and continue to build rapport. If the family can benefit from some assistance, offer translated forms and newsletters along with the common language copy. Also use infographics and use pictures when being specific.
Communication considerations. Nonverbal and body language. Understanding the context of eye contact, posture, proximity can for many families establish a safe place to communicate and connect. The Hamilton Parent Charter of Rights under Right to Expect, Right to Assistance, Rights to Safety, and Security. Here is Jana, an inclusion facilitator, with some examples of nonverbal and body language.
Eye contact is encouraged unless you are aware that the person you're speaking to may be uncomfortable with it, in which case use it sparingly. Try to keep a relaxed posture when speaking, with arms at your sides, smile on your face, and keeping your voice calm and clear when speaking. Stand close enough to the other person that you can be heard, but not close enough that they feel that you're invading their personal space. Respect personal boundaries and avoid touching the other person when speaking unless invited to do so, such as a handshake.
I statements and positive interactions. I statements can be used as a bridge in conversation to extend communication, seek clarification, engage the family, and promote collaborative inquiry. In How Does Learnings Happen, it states that RECEs are knowledgeable about a range of strategies that support ongoing positive interactions with children and families. Here is Sarah, a resource consultant, with an I statement example. I statements can be a great strategy to promote positive interactions with families, such as, I noticed that on Monday you said you were going on a bike ride. How was your bike ride? I have noticed that Johnny has been doing really well navigating the playground here on the bikes. I statements and well-being. In How Does Learning Happen under well-being, it states that families develop trust, confidence, and a sense of belonging in programs that value the centrality of the family to the health and well-being of children. Using I statements provides opportunities for educators to ask questions about the children's well-being or to share information about the child's well-being at the end of the day. Here is Sue, a resource consultant, with an I statement example.
I statements can also be a strategy to promote well-being and engage with families, such as, I noticed Johnny really seemed to enjoy the lasagna today, or I noticed that Jenny really seemed to enjoy the water play.
I statements and community collaboration. I statements also assist with community collaboration. Under the Code of Ethics, Professionalism, and Leadership, it states that practice, collaborate with families and colleagues, including community partners and members of other professions, to access resources and expertise. They facilitate community partnerships for the benefit of children and families. Here is Sarah again with an I statement example. An I statement might be, I noticed that you were looking for strategies on fine motor development. Would you like to meet with our resource consultant to discuss your concerns? Let's do a quick true or false recap. Open communication can be built when a situation arises. True or false? False. The Code of Ethics states in Standard 1, caring and responsive relationships. Communicate with children and families by being equitable, inclusive, and respectful of diversity. True or false? True. Being aware of your body language is important while communicating. True or false? True. I statements do not help to support well-being. True or false? False. Please find attached to this video a reflection document that has additional resources with 3 reflection questions for you to complete. Thank you.